That Kingdom in Context dude
Yeah, are you gonna talk to him?
posted the video that he was claiming he owned me in.
What? He didn't even call in.
He was saying something that like he owned me in this video, and he posted a video reaction that I'm assuming was the video he was talking about.
He just made some comments in the chat though.
Like, I don't know. Well, in this video, so part of it was hard for me to review. Right? I'm going to be fair with him, even though at least at one point he was very disingenuous and unfair with me. But like, it's a 3-hour video. It's like a live stream.
Mm-hmm.
And he spends most of it interacting with his chat, which is fine, right? Like, live stream, you interact with your chat, right?
Yeah, but that's like totally when you're not prepared really, and you're like, hey, chat, what should I react to?
Totally fair. And
yeah.
And the chat is not necessarily interacting with him about the clip of me he's watching. So like in a 3-hour video, there's maybe 15 minutes of me. Maybe that gets played, right? From 2 different places, right? So it's sort of 2 short clips. One time when he called in and talked to the 2 of us, that's like the last maybe 5 minutes. The other part is me talking to Ben. And there's a little bit of the, you know, he pauses after I say something and mugs at the camera. Like, can you believe this? Right.
That's my favorite argument. They say, Holy Theotokos, save us.
Yes. Yeah. And so the place where he was disingenuous. Okay. The place where he was disingenuous. So he had the clip of me talking to Cleve. Right. And talking about the 4 places in the Holiness Code where it says these talk about Acts 15. And the 4 places in the Holiness Code in Leviticus where it says it applies not only to,
but the foreigners among you as well.
Right,
not
the
only
foreigners
the
among you as well.
Yeah,
right. And he caught me making a legit mistake, right? And if he had phrased it as actually, right, that is said at the end of chapter 18, not the beginning of chapter 18, I would say fair enough. I would say fair enough. You got me. I made a mistake, right? But that's not what he did.
What
he did
guy doesn't know what he's talking about at all. It was the end of 18. He said it's the beginning and it's the end.
Right.
I'll bet, right?
He just goes to Leviticus 18, reads the first 2 verses, says that isn't there. And then throughout the rest of the video keeps coming back to, well, he said those 4 places in Leviticus, and that's not true. We already saw that wasn't true. Like implying to his audience that I was lying or making it up. Right. Now, he may have just not read the rest of the chapter to see that it was at the end. Right. But still, that's bad faith, man. Like presenting it to your audience as like, right. Because it is at the end of that chapter, right? That it says, and the foreigners among you. And then this is less disingenuous, just like he lost track of the argument. He says, and that's ridiculous because what? Gentiles coming to the church aren't bound by the 10 commandments in Exodus 20? That's not part of the Holiness Code. And then he says, or Leviticus 13, and that's in Leviticus. I'm like, that's not in the Holiness Code. That starts at chapter 17, right? So that, I think, was a mistake on his part. See, this is how you do it. I think he made a mistake, right? I don't think he was deliberately trying to mislead his audience.
That's how you point out people's mistakes properly.
I think he misunderstood. What I was trying to say. Yeah, but his overarching point was just to try to say that he also, right at the beginning, indicated that he doesn't know what Second Temple Judaism refers to. So that was kind of a red flag.
That's a big problem.
And he hasn't read the literature about this.
See, also
he's from his reading of the New Testament is what he's basing this on.
He also did a review of my debate with Metaphysics Mike, and I used like almost exclusively like the Bible and Second Temple sources, and that's it.
So there's that issue. But his big assertion is that no, the Torah is for everyone, Jews and Gentiles alike, every commandment. And there is no Jewish or Christian scholar of this that agrees with him. Jews do not agree with him about this. Christians do not agree with him about this. Christians of any stripe, who have studied this do not agree with him about this. And so doesn't automatically mean he's wrong, but it means you can't just make assertions.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You need to make an
If
argument.
you're just going to assert everyone else who has studied this is wrong, I don't have a degree, but I'm right. You've got to lay out a very good argument, right? You could be right, but you've got to lay out a very detailed and extensive set of argumentation. Now, I imagine he might throw out, there are a couple of verses that he could pull out in Numbers and in Deuteronomy that say, there shall be one law for you among you, both for the native born and the stranger. That's where I imagine he would go.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is if you take those in context, right, of the verses around them, those are instructions to judges, right? So the judge, when judging cases, right, and it's exclusive, you shall not be biased, you shall not take
no
bribe,
partiality,
right? Yeah, it's talking about showing partiality to native born or to foreigners. It's not saying all of the commandments apply equally and in the same way, right, to native born and to foreigners.
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
Well, that's my entire response to 3 hours, but most of it not about me.
Did you hear that, Kingdom in Context? Now, are we going to debate pronomianism or not?
Yeah, he watches your channel. That's my response to what you said there. Like I said, if you want to make some very detailed argumentation and really work through this and argue that we're all wrong, I'll look at it.
Write a paper, present it.
Yeah, like I'll look at it, right? That's what, like, people don't understand. This is something people don't understand about scholarship, the way the scholarship works. You can tell someone's not a scholar when they say, this is the scholarly consensus, therefore you should believe it. That's the proof that you're not a scholar. Okay? Because everybody who's a scholar knows that the scholarly consensus has a big bullseye on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody's trying to find like the one
topic,
thing to shake it up and like make their name. And that's a good point.
That's where you go. Everybody's going to be writing journal articles. Everybody's going to be attacking that consensus, right? To try to overturn it. Right. So maybe this consensus is incorrect, but you got to do some more work to overturn it than just assert.
Yeah.
Right. Or quote verses out of context.
You need reasons, like good ones.
Yeah. Yeah. And historical data. Because if you're not familiar with Second Temple Judaism and the variety of Second Temple Judaisms, plural,
already on the back
you're not going to be able to make the kind of argument you need to make.